Welcome to Talking Art Episode 11. I'm Abby Taylor, and in 2014 we do an exhibition of Vivian Springford works. And the overwhelming question was, who is she? Today, avid collectors own her works, and consultants will tell you to buy them, and curators will be interspersing these on the walls of their museums. So what affected this change? Well, it's interesting because Springford doesn't do a stain painting until about 10 years after Helen Frankenthaler does one in 1952. In 1963, acrylics are made available, and Springford was able to develop really fascinating techniques with this medium. She liked to say back in the day that acrylic is a medium you can control if you know what you're doing.
There is a mystique to Springford's technique and as to how she actually achieves her effects. She works on unprimed to lightly primed gesso so that the acrylics both soak in or sit lightly on top of a light-giving surface. We suspect she used a turntable to create the outward flow of paint. Many of her stain paintings have a center point of light and emanation. Yet the blending of color and creation of crisp line was clearly a repetitive experiment in which she had to be surprised herself in the results and yet try to control the elements to some extent. At the very heart of Springford's work, she was interpreting nature, the cosmos, flowers and sea life to express emotion through diaphanous light and color. She is important because she is singular at experimenting with acrylics at its inception. As we look at Paul Jenkins, Morris Louis, Helen Frankenthaler, and Kenneth Noland, we ask, does she shine? And perhaps she surpasses. Scholarship still evolves with the old masters, and we need to assess the history of more recent century as well. This is the era of looking back at some of the artists who deserve rediscovery.
I like to say that where Georgia O'Keeffe left off, Vivian Springford picked up. Both women abstracted elements of nature in an original way. Oddly, it may have been a strength that she worked so alone with determination from the late 1960s through the 1970s. A heartbreaking period arrives in the 1970s when she is producing these large and brilliant works and no gallery actively takes her up. She took up with feminist activism and joined the ardent groups for women, working to get her work shown and to push advocacy for equal gender representation. So there are two thoughts that we'd like to leave our viewers with. One is that her work is very much about a partnership with and about the natural world, and the fact that the authenticity of what she did is undeniable.